Mad Rockweek's Serial, The Garrison Green Saga. Prologue. Don't seek the shadow, or the shadow will see you. Don't speak to shadow, or the shadow will hear you. Don't search for the shadow, or the shadow will find you. Don't know the shadow, or the shadow will know you. A children's nursery rhyme from Zeeland County. The shadow has been an urban legend in Zeeland County for as long as the towns have been around. Part 1. Family Man. Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie? The song plays silently through his ambient hazed mind. Sean Woodard smiles to himself and adjusts his head on the pillow. He glances at Annie's side of the bed and frowns. A king-size bed seems so much larger when you're alone. The sound of the toilet flushing nearby soothes him. Soon she will be back in bed next to him across the wide surface of the king-size mattress. They sleep on their own sides due to his excessive snoring, especially when he's taking his sleeping pills. Just feeling her breathe into the mattress is satisfying enough. Even after 15 years, he is still madly in love with her. Even if she had not given him 2 amazing children, he would love her nonetheless. It was always and will always be only Annie. Sean remembers the last time they all went to the beach together. This memory brings a soft smile to his face. What a time they had. Annie dancing on the shore with her long blonde hair flowing in the wind. The kids trying to bury their daddy in the sand. It was amazing. They didn't get to make their yearly beach trip this year thanks to his new work schedule. Finally, the light from the bathroom door goes black. He quickly closes his eyes and pretends to be asleep. He knew she always felt bad when she accidentally woke him. He hated seeing her do anything but smile. He can barely hear her softly creeping back through their dark bedroom. He carefully peeks through a slightly opened eye. He doesn't get to see her or his children that often since he switched to the 4 a.m. shift. He had to take any chance he could get to gaze upon his precious Annie. He cautiously watches her as she makes it to her side of the bed. All he can see is her beautiful blonde hair sticking out from atop of her now off-white bathrobe. The bathrobe he bought her when she was in the hospital right after she had little Sandy. She slips under the covers across the ocean of mattress, turning her back to him as she snuggles into her comforter. Sean closes his eyes and smiles. The alarm from his cell phone makes his heart jump. Although it is somewhat quiet to prevent from waking up the entire house, it is unexpected and so very unwanted. It's 3 a.m. already. He quickly reaches for his phone and silences the alarm, knocking over his bottle of pills in the process. Annie tosses slightly but does not raise her head. Sean quietly gets out of bed, reaching through the darkness for his clothes he left out the night before. In 6 minutes he is dressed, shoes and all, which isn't bad considering it's done in complete darkness without making a sound. He's been trying to get it down to 5 minutes, but the last time he really rushed, Annie had left her curling iron on and his screams woke up the whole house on a school night. He still catches hell about that. With the slightest of creaks, he closes the bedroom door, taking one last look at the shape of his amazing Annie sleeping soundly in the giant sea of flannel sheets and feather comforter. He quietly starts his journey down the hall where he sees his 6-year-old's latest drawing taped to the outside of her door. Sean thought it was a forest, but Sandy corrected him. "No, Daddy, this is you and Mommy, Sam and me." He chuckled at the thought of just how cute she can be. He again remembers one of their beach trips. They had bought Sandy a little cheap water gun, and every time she shot him in the eyes. Sean regrets not taking them to the beach this year. Oh, what memories they could have made. He continues walking past her door and pauses for a moment outside of Sam's. Now and then he'll catch his 14-year-old son up at this time playing the damn Xbox. Tonight, however, Sean is relieved to hear only silence. Again, his mind races to the beach memories. this time of Sammy and all the giant sandcastles he would make. He had gotten pretty good at designing them. Sean can't wait to see what new sandcastles Sam will make next time. Continuing down the hall, passing the front door in the living room, Sean looks for the Pop-Tart and note his wife would often leave for him. Neither can be found. He figures she was probably still pissed at him for their disagreement today. Apparently commenting on her dinner choice was a bad idea. He thinks for a moment and sighs. She'll be over it by the time I get home. He shrugs it away and reaches down for his briefcase, his shirt tucked in and his hair patted into place in the 45 seconds it takes to get to the laundry room and into the garage. Sean opens the door and steps into the darkness. With a blind man's instinct and an ever so familiar routine, he reaches out into nothing. The fluorescent lights flicker on and the garage door rumbles open. He walks past his wife's brand new Dodge Charger through the garage to the driveway, where his beat-up and faded old hatchback sits. Annie calls it his micro machine. He smiles again at the thought of her. For a moment, as he directs his key into the lock of his faded hatchback, he feels a pang of guilt. For the past 9 months, he has dedicated all of his time to this job, and these crazy shifts, hardly ever seeing the beloved family he took this job for in the first place. He shivers in the cool night air and opens the car door. Soon, he will get back to some sort of normal schedule, one to better benefit his wife and kids, and the time he spends with them. Soon. As he throws his tired body into the driver's seat, he yawns. Those damn Ambien just won't let go this morning. He closes his door and pushes the button on his visor. The garage door rumbles closed. He rubs his eyes, trying to wake up. Just get to work. There's coffee there. He flips the windshield wipers on to remove the morning dew. They sway hypnotically, but the dew shows no sign of recognition to the squeaky rubber. Vision resisted. Slightly confused, Sean stops the wipers and reaches his arm up to the windshield, using his sleeve to wipe the glass clean. Weird, he shrugs without giving it a second thought. Adjusting his rearview mirror, he glances into it just long enough to see a reflection that is not his own. There is a microsecond of threatened surprise as his brain realizes someone is in the car with him in the back seat. As he turns to face his imposter, his hand raises instinctively to defend himself. However, before he could follow through, another glance in the mirror made his heart sink to the pit of his bowels. His mind flashes to Annie on the beach. Those eyes. Her eyes. By the time he fully turns around, he knows in his heart of hearts that it's Annie. He stares in horror at her pale, naked body, sticky with blood from some unimaginable violence. Something in his mind begins to break. His brain cannot understand or even begin to process what he is seeing or what is happening. He can't breathe. He can't think. He reaches for her cold, lifeless body. The breaking in his mind grows with every escaping breath. Every detail of her precious skin now corrupt from some sort of harsh brutality. He stops. Her hair is gone, not cut nor shaved off. Her entire scalp was missing. Sean touches his wife's skin, tears flood his eyes. She is so cold. She is so cold. His mind breaks further as his chest seizes. He looks at his house in terror. He begins to shake, pressing the button on the visor. The garage door begins to slowly rumble open. In a panic, he darts out of his car and sprints towards the opening door, and then it stops. The garage door, in mid-track, stops and begins to go back down. Irate and consumed with fear, he turns around without thinking and runs back to his car. He rips the remote from the visor. The garage door begins to open yet again. It gets to his waist and stops. The door begins to close again. Sean drops to his knees, but before he can roll underneath, he sees feet. Someone is pressing the button on the inside of the garage. Someone is in the house. Sammy! Sandy! He screams, running to the front door. With a parental rage, he rams the door repeatedly, switching between his shoulders and his feet. Half of a dozen hits and the broken shoulder. The door finally gives way. As he enters the living room, he notices nothing, not even the back door on the porch wide open. He is too engulfed with fear. He runs straight down the hall to his son's room. Throwing the door open, he rushes into the dark room. His knees buckle and his stomach turns. He needs no light to sense the cold, limp body lying on the bed. The images of sandcastles being washed away with the tide drowns his thoughts. Sean screams with primal pain and stumbles down the hall to Sandy's room. He tries to call for her. He tries to call out to her, but no sound leaves him. He opens the door and the light from the hallway reveals everything he feared. He closes the door. Speechless and numb, with anger and grief, he fumbles with his phone, taking it out of his pocket. Sean dials 911. 911, what is your emergency? The operator's voice sounds a million miles away. He can't respond. The room starts to spin. His mind overwhelmed and his brain continues to shatter. He barely registers that the back door on the porch is wide open. 911, what is your emergency? The operator presses. Sean's nostrils begin to flare as he smells an odor. It burns the only way it would burn to an ex-cigarette smoker. His rage begins to swell as his realization sets in. He peers across the living room to the open door. He can see the stream of smoke sifting in through the door, at intervals, pausing only long enough for a puff to be taken. Sean remembers that rhythm well. He stares into the darkness until he can see the red dot of a cigarette cherry burning it as the trespasser sucks it once again. Sean drops the phone and charges with blind hate. Lunging through the doorway, he dives into the waist-high rail along the porch, knocking the wind from his lungs completely. With a striking sound, a flame ignites to his right. Before he can catch his breath to see, flames quickly surround the porch, isolating him within. Sean turns, and a few feet beyond the flicker of the flame, a silhouette stands, smoking and swaying in the shadows. In its hypnotic rhythm, Sean's mind crumbles. He flashes back to the afternoon before, watching Annie as she cooks, her punk rock music pumping through the air. She is dancing. Was someone behind her, just outside the window? Was someone watching them, waiting? Was someone there? A million should-haves fade away to the fact that she is gone. Sean comes to, and the shadow-smoking figure is gone as well. Grief begins to destroy him. Sean rises to his feet as he stumbles back into the house. As shock consumes him, he collapses to the floor. He looks to a picture of them on the beach, hanging on the wall. The beach is gone. His wife and his children were gone. His life was gone. He collapses to the ground as the sirens approach. There is only one thing he can think of, only one thought echoing throughout his mind. I felled them.